Hello, everyone. Thank you guys for joining. We're going to give everyone about a minute or two to join. So grab your coffee, grab your notepad, grab your cat, your pet to join in on this webinar. And we'll start in the next minute or two so that we give everyone time to log in. Also, if you want, in the chat, feel free to, if you want to throw in the chat where you're connecting from, feel free to throw where you're connecting from. If you're in California, if you're in Florida, if you're in Spain, wherever you might be logging in globally, feel free to throw in the chat where you're joining from. And again, I'll repeat, so welcome to the Sales Layer webinar. We're giving people time to log in, get comfortable, get everything set up. We will start in the next minute or so, but we want to make sure we give everyone time to log in and join us. Alrighty, connecting from San Francisco. Hello, hello, and good morning.
Good morning, Claudio.
All right, yes, we've got a Nashville, Tennessee joining as well. Good to see you, Sina, joining us. Perfect. We'll give it another 30 seconds and then we'll get started. I do it for those that, there we go. Buenos dias, Alvaro, Claudio, hello. I always give those people at least 2 or 3 minutes because I'm not going to lie. I'm never the one that's early. Maybe on time, but early, that's doesn't happen. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and get everything started. We have a lot to cover, so I want to make the most of our time. So welcome everyone, and thanks for joining us today for the Sales Layer webinar on marketing strategies with AI that directly impact manufacturers. So today we're going to talk about a major shift that is already starting to reshape B2B commerce, the rise of AI driving buying decisions, and then AI agents. And what does that mean for manufacturers and marketing teams? So this session is really about one big idea, the next phase of commerce in the AI era. In this era, your product data becomes far more than marketing content. It becomes the infrastructure that determines whether your products can be found, understood, compared, and ultimately selected by humans and machines. So quick housekeeping before we get started. Please feel free to use the chat box, as some of you guys are already starting to use the chat box. We will save time for questions, so feel free to add your questions in the chat box and we will review that at the end of the webinar. This webinar is being recorded. We will be sure to send the recording afterwards. And for those that stay with us until the end, we have a QR code where you can sign up for a custom demo with our team and a proof of concept. Alrighty, so today on the webinar, we are very fortunate to have our own CEO and founder of SalesLayer, Alvaro Verdoy. As a pioneer of the first agentic PIM in the market, Alvaro today is going to share his vision on how we are anticipating where digital commerce is headed next and how we are actively helping our SalesLayer clients drive real business outcomes with AI. First, we'll look at how the buying process is changing as AI becomes a part of procurement and discovery. Second, we'll look at AI agents and what they mean for productivity. We will then talk about why product data is now the foundation for visibility and automation, ultimately changing the role of product data. And finally, we'll look at what this means for the modern marketing team, specifically the emergence of the hybrid marketer. So the goal today is not just to talk about AI in abstract terms. It's to make this practical and talk about what is changing, why it matters, and what companies need to do to prepare. Alrighty, so Let's start with where it all begins, our customers, right? So Google is dead, and the way people find your business is changing. Instead of your customers going to Google to find your business or products, your customers are going straight to ChatGPT. I know that some of these attendees on the webinar today are here because they found SalesLayer through ChatGPT. So Alvaro, will you kick us off and explain how there are ways to stay more competitive whenever we're talking about SEO and GEO optimization?
Well, first of all, thank you everyone for joining today. Definitely, this is our fastest growing channel in SalesLayer. The reason why most of our new customers find us is because they ask ChatGPT, what is the best team in the market? And then the next question, okay, consider that we are a B2B manufacturer with this number of employees, we sell these products. And based on that, the answer is more refined. And then final answer is, okay, given what you just said, I think that the best PIM for you is, and we work hard, so they recommend SalesLayer as a PIM, right? So this is growing in an exponential way. So SEO is dying quickly. The traffic that we are having on our website from SEO is dropping every month, and GEO is growing really fast. And what we are seeing also is that the leads and the prospects that come from LLMs like ChatGPT, Gemini, they are much more qualified, and we see higher conversion rate. So very high quality intent. That's what is happening in B2B software. That's what we sell. But our customers, and probably the people on this webinar, you are selling products. And this is the change that is coming in 2026, that people will start, and people are starting to find their products, whether it's B2C or B2B, just by simply asking ChatGPT. And that has a huge impact in the way you are doing business today. And again, remember, this is not just B2C, also affecting B2B. Procurement is moving also towards agentic procurement, right? And this is huge change, but at the same time, also a big opportunity. So with SEO, the main way or how we were searching was specific keywords, and then based on keywords and backlinks, Google or other search engines were recommending. Today with GEO, the understanding of LLMs is much deeper, and LLMs are like professional advisors that are suggesting the buyers what to buy. And that has a lot of implications around that. So probably one of the best ways to, what do you think about this, Marisa? Because probably one of the best ways is to demo and show how I think that users are searching on ChatGPT. And I can use an example of myself, something that I did a couple of months ago for a project at my parents' home. So trying to find some products for a lighting project, interior lighting project, interior design. Okay.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I'm gonna demo this. I'll share screen.
Yep. Perfect. Yeah. Give me a second, and I'll stop sharing. Here we go.
Good. So this is not a demo of SalesLayer. This is ChatGPT demo. Same would work for a different LLM. But the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna upload this image. Okay, this is a room that has poor lighting. Okay, and I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to help me design the project. Okay. So in this case, I want to design the lighting for this event room, because this is going to be a room for events like birthdays or weddings. I was thinking on tracks, like LED tracks. And my main question is, okay, how do I design this? Because I didn't know where to start from. So give me suggestions about how to light it, which systems I could use. And I would like to combine the spotlights with different beam angles to create both general lighting and focus accent areas. So please make sure the two types of lighting integrate well together, right? More or less, this is what I was asking ChatGPT back then. You can see a better detail that this is a restored room that had no lighting, and we had to design it. I know nothing about lighting. I know nothing. So ChatGPT was recommending me, like if it was a professional coming to my home and asking or recommending about what are the levels of looks in these kind of spaces, okay? And giving the size, also was giving me the number of lumens, right? The amount of lumens that I needed, right? How to track, how to lay out the tracks, the number of spotlights, the beam angle strategy, how to place them, right? Even wide accent, wide accent, wide accent, color temperature, CRI and dimming. Probably 99% of people buying lighting don't know what CRI means or dimming, but ChatGPT is an expert, and some tricks, right? So perfect. This is what I need, right? So right now, okay, give me a list of products to buy. So now it's already giving me how many units and suggesting me different products. It's interesting to see that some of these are from our customers. Right, the accessories, the amounts, the quantities, the spotlights, the budgets, everything. You get an idea, right? So you understand what are the implications, and probably all the people on this room, if you are selling lighting, you would like your product to be recommended, right? Like in this case of Benito Faure, one of our customers, you like your product to appear here, right? And be recommended rather than a competitor product. So the deep, I can show you also I don't want to show you more, I don't want to go more into details. I could be asking more and more. What I can tell you is that this part was pretty easy. When I was trying to find the specific products that I needed, it took hours because ChatGPT couldn't find the specific products online, because all the technical specifications that ChatGPT requires are not shared by every company, by every manufacturer, right? So the main point, okay, how do I make ChatGPT recommending my products and not the competitor products? So this is the key point. I'm going to show you the end result, right? So this is how the room was before, right? And I can give you how, of course, this is not finished, but you can see the lighting, right? And I'm not a professional designer, but using ChatGPT, it helped me to design even different rooms with different spaces, right? I could design the space and buy the products that I was trying to find with the purpose, right? That I was trying to accomplish. So as you can see, the main difference is that ChatGPT, the way it's searching online is by technical specifications, and is finding for things that are much more advanced than the typical user. So if you are not sharing online or with your retailers, your wholesalers, your customers, if we are talking about your procurement teams on B2B companies, all the specifications in lighting, things like CRI, the lumens, the track system, the compatibility, the luminous flux, all these kind of things, the angle, the beam angle, things like that for users mean nothing. AIs are not going to recommend you, because AIs are lazy as humans. They recommend whatever is low-hanging fruit for them, right? So this is where product information becomes the center again in the competition in the market, right? Whether it's B2C or B2B. I think we have like a slide that explains this. Exactly. We need to understand how LLMs search and how decisions are made. Remember that I was telling you, once our product gets recommended by ChatGPT, the conversion rate triples. It's not conversion rates in a traditional search engine used to be quite low because the results are less relevant for the users. When we talk about LLM recommendations, we can see conversion rate that go beyond 25, 30%. And we need to understand that LLMs, they don't browse. What they do is they ingest massive amounts of data and they understand what that data means. So what we need to do as a business is to make sure that we can share with LLMs using protocols like ACP or UCP, that are the protocols that Gemini and ChatGPT are making public. So sharing our product data, so it can be indexed by these LLMs, so they learn about our products and they can find our products quickly anytime the user is asking for specific things. And they will look for even more specific things because they will have into account other attributes, other specifications that the end user might not. For instance, in B2B, if I'm trying to buy a bearing, the compatibility with my current product, that is very important because I want a bearing that is very specific for this product, for this machine, and for this use, right, within this price range and within my supplier base. So this is the fundamental change. And again, this is a huge revolution, and investing in catalog is right now more important than ever.
Yeah, so then what I'm hearing is to survive the agentic commerce, businesses need to turn scattered product information into a unified intelligence layer, right?
Correct.
So ultimately, in summary, what Alvaro just showed us is, structured data is no longer a nice to have. It's the minimum requirement to participate in modern commerce. So especially in any environment that's shaped by AI, agents, or automated comparisons. So without structured product data, you lose visibility, automation, and competitiveness all at the same time. So I also speak to many marketers, many e-commerce managers, product managers, and they all currently already feel stretched in their day-to-day work. So let's talk about, we've talked about how our customers are changing. Let's talk about this shift in what a hybrid marketer is and what that actually means. But before we actually talk about the marketer, we have to talk about the tools that marketing teams should be using to do their jobs, right? So this slide actually brings us back to the conversation of PIM. So Alvaro, can you talk us through the importance of the PIM tool and explain how AI agents are here to empower marketing teams?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, AI is again transforming software. AIs are sometimes they feel like a threat, but in the end, they are a huge opportunity. They are helping every business in the world, every professional to amplify their skills and their work band. And the traditional flow of a PM is centralizing the product data in the cloud. And then once the product information is perfectly enriched in a collaborative way with different users, then I can publish it across different channels. One of the channels today can be the feeds for ChatGPT or for other LLM systems. So as we were seeing before, we can provide data that can be ingested and can be parsed by the LLM systems. The layer that we are adding on top, and we will talk about agents now, is an expansion of your team. So small AI agents that can adopt roles like the role of the product manager, the role of the category manager, the role of the translator, and help us with tasks that today we can't manage, or we can't even afford, or we couldn't ever imagine that we could do, or like ultra specialized content, ultra localized content. So tasks like that where agents can help us as I was saying, as an extension of our team and connected to our PIM workflows. Okay, to make sure that product information is more relevant for the user, but especially more relevant for AIs that are the ultimate advisors of the users making purchasing decisions.
And something that a lot of times, this is a slide that we utilize whenever we're talking to a lot of businesses, so they fully understand what the PIM value is. But a lot of times, I know that we're all hyped about AI, but I always try to make it very clear to businesses that we work with is that first you need a central product database before you can even start to optimize the way you're doing things with AI agents. So you need that PIM to have that foundation of product database, and then you can really start to incorporate the AI agents within the actual PIM. So a lot of times people want to jump ahead to AI, but they need a little bit more of a stronger foundation on their product catalog. But can we talk a little bit more about the hybrid marketer?
Yeah, I mean, and here's where we start with this concept that is called we define as the hybrid marketer. The hybrid marketer is a marketer that knows how to use AI to leverage their skills and to expand their limits. Traditionally, we thought about workflows like something very linear and sequential. So I do the entry of the data, then I consolidate the data, then I structure the data, enrich it, translate, syndicate. When we talk about agents, now we need to think about parallelized workflows. They can work together with humans, and while we do something like entering product data from our ERP directly or even manually, then the other tasks that are regarding or are around enrichment can be automatically in parallel performed by AI agents. What kinds of tasks can be assigned to agents? So think about the roles that we have in today's world, right? Product managers, category managers, translators. So we give them can we go to the previous slide again?
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, we can give them, generate product descriptions that can be even specific by customers, translate to multiple languages or translate to a local language like UK English, American English, for instance. Things like before were not viable or affordable for companies because we're very expensive, but today just makes sense because it's easy, is affordable. Categorization, categorize automatically to a standard like the UNSPSC code, or categorize to the Amazon categories. Find errors, fix them, apply business rules. So these are things that agents can do autonomously. We will show you an example with SalesLayer, but these kinds of agents can be found in many SaaS solutions. That's my first recommendation to all the users today. We'll show you an example, but is dominate them, understand them, because if you are not using agents today in your day-to-day, agents that can help you, that can augment your capabilities, you are already outdated. And by the end of 2026, you'll see people around you already using the agents, being familiar, that have 20, 30 times more productivity. Because we will talk about productivity, but today, what really AI means is the final boss. If we were wanted to talk about games, right? It's the final boss, the most difficult level for productivity. This is about companies will survive on productivity, companies will win on productivity. Markets are very bad at understanding shock moments or short-term moments, like what can happen if AI does this in the short term, or what can happen with petrol prices if happens this or that, but are very good at understanding the long term of things, right? The long-term movements of the world. And what we are seeing is that markets are giving a plus, an extra to companies that are more productive. And that applies to every single member in a team, every single member in a company, every department. Productivity is what will make some stand out and sometimes even survive. So it's not about AI, it's about productivity. And AI and agents are our best ally to make ourselves and our company more productive, right? Maybe we can also.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I mean, we can show how agents work. We can show some examples. The way an agent, think about this, the way an agent is configured is how you would hire an employee in your company. Okay, what is an agent? So, okay, you have a new team member. What would you do? So you explain, you give context, you give conditions of the work that they should do, you define the actions of the things that have to be done, and then you review for the first few weeks or the first few months the output and how they are doing their work. Once you've seen that this new member in your team is doing perfect work every time, always on time, no errors, then you can leave them alone, right? And just delegate completely the task on that new team member, right? So agents is the same way, or is the same process, or we should think about them in a very similar way. We'll see right now an example. Right, the kind of tasks, if we go, I think we have a slide about the tasks. These are some of the tasks that you can today easily automate with agents. Not automate, you can delegate on agents, because I think it's a more appropriate word. Translation, improving text, reading content, categorizing, applying business rules. These are things that if you are doing it today manually, or you are using some specific tools that require your manual intervention to perform these tasks, you are already outdated. With agents, you can automate it completely from start to finish and delegate the task completely in an autonomous way.
Perfect. So then, again, let's put concepts into practice. Alvaro is going to show you how easy it is to set up AI agents and how you can have them expand team capabilities without having to add headcount. So,
correct. Or yeah, just think about this. How many times we've asked to our boss, I need more people in my team, right? And the answer was, okay, there's no budget, maybe next year. So now, this way, you can use agents as that extension and that extra resources that you were asking for. Again, this is sales layer, but think that these kinds of agents, you can find them in many other SaaS solutions. You can find them there are solutions like N8N or Make that are just about workflows and agents. So this is an example. My recommendation is start learning about how to use agents and become experts on AI agents. Okay, I'm going to show you some examples. The first one is, okay, let's do ultra tailored product content for specific users. Okay, so let's do, for instance, I want a description for, okay, this company, this is in an account that does that sells lighting, just to follow with the same example. Okay, and I have inside its product page, I have many attributes, many technical attributes. These technical attributes are coming from my ERP. Okay, like ETIM, surface and optics, things like this. Okay, based on those attributes, the rest of the things that normally the marketer were taking so long to personalize the content for specific buyer personas, for specific markets, that can be automated by agents. So for instance, I have here an attribute called description for architects. Okay, so I want to configure an agent that will help me with this description. So I'm gonna show you how this agent was configured. The trigger, okay, in this case is manual, but we can define to run on changes or schedule it. We give the conditions, what part of my catalog I want you to work on. And then the most interesting part are the actions that I want this agent to perform. Okay, think about this agent as a role, as a team member. Again, this is so easy to understand. What do we need to define? Okay, I want you to work on the description for architects. I'm going to give you context about the products. Okay, so the optics, luminous flux, type of luminaire, power, color, temperature. With this context, I'm going to give you some instructions of what I'm expecting, right? So in this case, you are a high-end architectural lighting brand. Create a product description written specifically for architects and lighting designers working on professional projects. Focus on this and that, and use a professional tone. Avoid consumer language and emotional sales claims. I want this just to be professional, because this is for maybe my new paper catalog that I'm I'm gonna show on the new threshold, for instance, right? So update action. Then when we go to details and summary, we give a name and a description to the agent, so we know what this agent does. And then, as we were explaining before, this agent is new, so I want to review the changes before these changes are applied. Okay, so supervision, human supervisions. Okay, so update agent. And as this was configured manually, I'm going to run it. Okay, while it runs and executes the task, let's create a new agent so you see how easy it is to create a new agent. Let's do it on the product, on the product side. Again, we'll do the manual trigger. We'll work on draft products. And now the action. So the action that I want to perform here, in this case, is translation. Okay. I want this agent to translate to, let's say, German and Spanish. Okay. And I don't want to translate all the fields. I just want to translate the description that we just created. That is the description for architects. Okay. Provide existing translations. And here I have a prompt that I'm going to paste here. Okay. Translate the text into the target language using a professional and technical tone appropriate for architects, lighting designers, and specification professionals. Very important when configuring an agent. 90% is the quality of the prompt. So learn how to prompt or ask an AI like ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini to help you with the prompt. Okay, so you can use a prompt to run another. So you can use a prompt from an AI to run another AI. The content refers to professional lighting products, so you need to give good context about your company. Avoid marketing or professional language. And then in the end, I'm going to use language standards. For Spanish, please use Spanish from Spain. And for German, use German from Germany. Okay? I could say Spanish from Mexico, for instance. But in this case, I'm gonna give these instructions. Okay. I will give an avatar. I will call this polyglot. Translates to Spanish and German. Translate architect descriptions, architect's descriptions to Spanish and German. Okay, I won't make this supervised, so just unsupervised because I'm brave. Okay, before it runs, as it needs to translate the descriptions for architects that were created by this other agent, I'm going to review the changes or that were performed by the previous agent. Remember, this other agent was creating the description from scratch using technical specifications. So you have here all the descriptions using professional language, using attributes and content that is relevant for architects and lighting designers. So, okay, we can also click and see what is the quality, right? The reliability of this description, how the prompt was used, and the action evaluation. But in this case, okay, let's say that all of them are perfect. So I'm going to prove them, and I'm going to apply the changes. Just apply changes, and the changes are being applied. Once these changes are applied, okay, now I'm going to run the translation agent. Okay, so meanwhile, we can go to one product page, and we'll see that right now we have the description for architects. Okay, and the translations are not available yet because are being created by the agent. Okay, but we can see here the all the description, how it was created in about few seconds. Okay, of course, if we need to generate hundreds of thousands of translations, it takes a bit longer. But let's see how the translation agent now is applying changes. Okay, and let's refresh. And we go inside one of the product pages. and we'll see that now we have 3 out of 5. We have English, we have German from Germany, and we have Spanish from Spain, automatically translated, okay, autonomously. That means that if I configure all these agents properly, if a new product appears on my ERP, then that automatically triggers a workflow where all the agents start to work and generate all the content that is relevant for each channel. For instance, I want the reasons to buy for Amazon. I want the reasons to buy for Amazon in Canada. I want a description for this segment of my customers, right? And we can do things like even fixing errors, check my catalog, and work on the errors of some specific attributes like a model 30C, 8DC, or USB that from FABDIS. That's a very specific international standard. So I can update the action.
And actually, Alvaro, talking about actions that our agents can do now, we just released the business rules. So I feel like a lot of users that maybe are a little bit more advanced in the PIM space, this is a common request that we get sometimes regarding business rules. And I know we worked really hard to launch them. Can you give some examples or just like mention?
Yeah, exactly. 1 second, because this finished very quickly. But you can see the kind of errors that found in this case. There are many codex errors, right? Like this, like the inches, or unifying some numbers, or unifying the way we are defining, specifying, right, each attribute. And if we are happy with this, we just click, select all the items, approve selected, and we have fixed 68 errors in about few seconds. Okay, of course we can give more instructions. And regarding business rules, similar, we can define more specific rules, smart business rules, where we can generate, we can calculate prices automatically. We can concat different attributes. We can apply one change depending on the value on another attribute, so we can link different attributes together. And these are conditional. What we are adding in a few weeks is that we could also use natural language. So these business rules are applied using natural language. Like for instance, if you find that the status on my ERP of this product changes, then please change the category where this product should belong to based on Amazon family groups, for instance, right? So anyway, this is just an example. These are sales layer agents, but there are many tools that allow us to create these agents that can automate a lot of tasks in our day-to-day. And we should be familiar with them, because if not, again, by the end of 2026, we would be completely outdated in the way we work, because this increases our productivity massively. And we are in the times, the age of productivity. Okay? What do you think, Marisa, about agents? They're pretty easy to configure, right?
Yep. Yeah. I think they're definitely work faster than sometimes ourselves. Like you mentioned, we taught AI how to be lazy, but then also they do learn very quickly. They learn being lazy from humans, but they do learn very fast.
What we found, because in Sales Layer, we are using AI heavily on every department. And what the teams value the most is not just the increase in productivity. In the end, we are still working 8-10 hours, right? So we are still investing time. So the increase in productivity for an employee, right, doesn't mean much, because we are still doing the hours, right, in our workday. But it's the increase of the quality of the output. The improvement in the things that we can do, that this is much better than what we used to do before. AI is giving us the quality, right, that we could never imagine.
And I think that a lot of times when I'm speaking to customers, the first thing they're looking for is just ways to automate a lot of those manual, repetitive tasks. And so they're already stretched in their day to day with just meeting certain requirements, but they're always looking for that automation. But of course, they've got messy data. So if you start to automate things with messy data, then it creates a bigger mess. So that's
Correct.
why it's the agents really once you
Definitely.
have.
And this is a key point. If I'm giving the agents, this is about the other way. The other day I was talking about this on LinkedIn. So if you give to the agent, um, let's say, good pot of data, they are going to augment that data and they are going to expand that data. They will generate different flavors of the contents that are specific, right? And you will be able to connect that data across multiple channels. If you give the agents bad data, then that's going to augment the, I mean, you will have that bad data everywhere. All your descriptions will be a mess. You will be publishing on every website the wrong data, and it's going to be terrible. So the effects of wrong data are terrible in the AI, the world prior to AI. But in the AI world, wrong data has a terrible impact.
And
They
I
can
do.
destroy a company completely.
Yeah, and I do think that a lot of times there is that initial fear in talking about AI of things happening in an automated way but without supervision. But this is why we have that human element with the AI
Correct.
agents where you can, like you mentioned, once you train someone to do their job, then they can do it all, by themselves. And so that we
Correct.
do have that human element. So that's usually what I try to make sure customers understand is that you will always have that human element if you want it to be there until you get to a place where you
Correct.
feel confident with what the AI agents can do for you.
Yeah, but most important is the input. Give AI good data, because if not, then the consequences are 200, 300 times worse than before,
Yeah.
because all the content will be completely messed up.
Yeah. Perfect. And so really, I know we already have some questions in the chat. We're
Mhm.
coming to a close to what we wanted to share with you guys today. So really, in summary, whenever we're talking about this hybrid marketer, because today again, it's not just about how businesses need to stay competitive. It's also about how professionals need to stay competitive in their actual career. So this is why we're trying to empower marketers to have more tools to be more of this hybrid marketer. So this is really where there's this shift from systems to people. So the marketer of the future is not only creative, right? They have to sit at this intersection of marketing, technology, and AI. And they still have to care about the customer experience, omni-channel strategy, and brand positioning, but they also need to understand API logic, automation, and data governance. So there's also the frontier element as well, right? So the AI agent orchestration, the new prompt-based workflows, and lighter weight technical skills. So what is important to note is that marketers don't need an engineering degree to take advantage of this shift, but they do need tools that are marketing first, intuitive, and powerful enough to let them orchestrate intelligent systems. And so whenever we're talking about AI, we know that it's difficult to know where to start. So this is why we give you guys support along the way. So we've actually created an AI Academy that is designed to transform how you interact with your product information. So we offer continuous trainings where we teach you how to use our expanded API and generative AI tools. So this will help you build headless solutions without a large dev team. Because we know traditional development teams can be slow, but with vibe coding, we can remove technical barriers. So we teach you how to create interactive catalogs, B2B portals, and apps in hours and not months. I know this has been a huge accomplishment for SalesLayer. Do you want to say anything additionally regarding the AI
Yeah,
Academy?
this goes beyond our solution. Mm, In the end, it's about an ecosystem. So once you have your product information well organized, well structured, you can use also agents to help you with that work. Then it's about connecting that data across different channels, but also across other tools in the AI space that can help you augment your capabilities. So, for instance, if you've not tried Lovable before or Cursor to build code, to ship code, you should, right? Because it's incredible what you can do. Before, a marketer needed a developer, and we were depending on developers for many things, or we were depending on mathematicians for other things. Today, we can do all these tasks using AI and using this concept called vibe coding, that is using natural language. I can code apps. Those apps connected to my PIM can do things like enhancing my images, analyzing, reading let's say, a business intelligence tool to analyze my catalog and correlate that with my CRM and my ERP. Create a catalog app, for instance, that is specific for a segment of my customers. So things that we don't require developers anymore to build these solutions. So this is the purpose of the AI Academy, using third-party tools. This is not about sales layer. This is about all the things that you can do, connecting your Lovable, your Cursor, your Replit, your Make to your PIM, right? And all the capabilities that give you superpowers. Because again, if you are afraid about AI, that's not the approach. AI, if you know how to use it, if you learn, if you master how to use agents, how to use solutions like Lovable, like Cursor, that's giving you superpowers, and you can go beyond the limits. And that's what everyone is trying to do right now. And it's about productivity. So I think this is the key message. It's all about productivity. AI is all about productivity.
Yeah, especially in the digital space. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, before we start to answer some of the questions, I want to make sure that we have some clear takeaways, some clear action items of what we've covered in this webinar. So first, it's embrace the AI buyer, right? Generative engines and procurement bots are becoming part of your addressable audience. So you need to optimize for machines that help you sell to humans. Second, empower the hybrid marketer. So teams need platforms that combine technical automation with an intuitive marketing focused experience. And third, unify your intelligence. So treat your product catalogs as critical infrastructure and use a modern PIM to consolidate, enrich, and connect product information. So this is how companies prepare for an agentic commerce, not with isolated AI experiments, but with the structured data and automation strategy. Okay, so let's see here. As we go through the questions, there's also here this QR code. If you want to learn more about our PIM tools, about our AI agents, feel free to scan that QR code and we can set that up for you. But in the meantime, let's use this time to look at the questions that we have here. Okay, so first question, Alvaro, what do you mean by unified intelligence grid? Do you understand this question? Claudio wanted to
I think
know.
yes, this was about when we were talking about the PIM and the flows.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like the parallel.
here, yeah. So the intelligence today is in humans. In this new world, intelligence would be shared across humans and agents working together. So our role as marketers and our role as professionals will be to orchestrate all that, right? So the intelligence grid is all the information in the companies, all the procedures, all the context, all the things that only we know as a company. So let me give you an example. If I am a manufacturer, if I'm a retailer or I'm a wholesaler, I can use an agent to scrape websites to find product information of the products that I sell, right? There are some, my catalog is not good enough. Check online because other websites might have better specifications of these products, okay? But if I am the manufacturer, that product data doesn't exist. And that's the most valuable thing that we have, is that we are the original source for the AI, right? That's part of the intelligence of the company. And that's also our job is to, and our role here is to make sure that that data is perfect and is distributed so other AIs can absorb it, right, and use it, ingest it, right, and use it to automate other tasks and syndicate it across different channels.
Okay, perfect. Here we have another question. So let's see. Can your AI agents query our active ERP catalog to dynamically generate a pre-filled SKU draft while simultaneously flagging any proposed fields, examples like weights or attributes that deviate from our historical category patterns?
Wow, that's
That's
super
a
specific.
loaded question.
Let me understand.
Yeah, it's actually
Yeah.
not so much in the Q&A, it's actually in the chat.
Yeah. So I'm reading it. So active ERP catalog, yes. That's so part of it yesterday and part of it is coming. So the part that is about generating content inside existing attributes, yes. But if it's about simultaneously flagging and proposing new attributes, like for instance, these are some attributes that you should consider for your product lineup, right? Or for this family, that's coming. But we have already a GPT. We have something called Data Model Expert by SalesLayer that is available to all users on ChatGPT. It's published. So if you check on the apps on ChatGPT, SalesLayer product data expert can do that part. It's not connected to the agents yet, but it can help you define define the attributes that you need. And then for the last part, so deviate from historical category patterns. Well, that's somehow that could be automated with the business rules. So with the automatic business rules, that's something that, I mean, it's very specific, this thing. So we will need to look into that specific use case. But this is something that potentially our business rules could do.
Perfect.
I
All
hope I'm
right.
answering the question. It was very, very specific, but happy to take it offline and understand better that use case.
Yeah, great. Then we also have another question. So which LLM systems are you using for development for your agents?
For development of our agents, what do you
It
mean
just
by
which LLM systems are we
are you
using?
using for develop these agents?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I understand the question. I guess the question is which LLMs are behind the agents creating creating the content. Okay, let me share screen. Let me share screen. I think I understood the question. So, okay, so this is great news because you can use your API key, your LLM API key. So you can use your own LLM, right? Like today we are supporting OpenAI. Very soon we will have Gemini, Claude, and other LLMs, and you will use your direct API key. So you know all the time where your data is going. So you know that your data is not being trained, but it's not being used by us to train our LLMs. And your LLM will have also more feedback and more context about your company to improve the outputs. I hope that is answering the question. So the answer is you can choose.
Perfect. We've got a couple more minutes, so hang in there, Alvaro. Let's see. Claudio wanted to know, where is the space for ontologies in the product description?
Ontologies. Ontologies. So, okay, one of the things that we offer here is a glossary of terms. I guess this is somehow connected to ontologies. This is an area that we will be expanding, but here you can upload your terms, and these can be used for descriptions or for translations, right? So these specific keywords are used and taken into account. So somehow I guess that's connected to the question about ontologies. And again, you could be creating something that we will be supporting in our agents are these custom entities of sales layer. So custom entities are a way to manage different contents and attributes. So different to your catalog and your products directly. So you could have your ontologies on the custom entities, and that could be used as context for the task of the agent, if that makes sense. So there are different ways.
Okay.
Nonetheless, if it's about the industry expertise, LLMs have lots of industry expertise. So here it's just about giving very specific things about your company.
Perfect. And then, sorry, I probably should have asked this one whenever we were talking about LLM and tokens, but there's a question on how can the structured data influence the selection of tokens that the AI is generating and selecting to present to clients?
How can the structure... Today we're having super specific questions. So this is
That's why I said
the
hang in there.
structured data influence the selection of tokens that the AI is generating and selecting to present?
But maybe I think here we could talk
I don't know
about
the
just
answer.
so I think maybe
So
we could also talk about just AI tokens in general, like the consumption and how we would actually.
Yeah. So the main tokens will be consumed on your LLM, right? On your account, right? So in this case, ChatGPT or OpenAI, and also SalesLayer offers a token system that is just based on the number of attributes that have been updated. So you will have a limit of attributes updated on SalesLayer, and on top of that, the tokens of your LLM.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I mean,
and we just have two more we're going to end with. Let's see, is your agent, can it generate outputs in PDF, Excel, CSV, and Word formats?
No, the agent's not today. Today you can use directly the PIM to export in PDF, Excel, and CSV, not in Word. But agents, these kinds of agents are something that is coming, not only for generation, but also for so actually two interesting things. So one of them is that we are going to launch an episode on our AI Academy about how to create a PDF generator connected to your PIM with ultra personalized PDFs. So that's going to be content that we will be launching soon. And to create these kinds of content, you can do it from the PIM. You don't need an agent from that. And something that is in our roadmap is extracting data from PDFs, Excel, CSVs that are unstructured. So extracting the data and structuring the data, then to import it in your PIM. Right? That's something that is in our R&D space right now.
Fantastic. Okay, I think we have cleared the queue of questions. So ultimately, we have come to the conclusion of the webinar. Thanks everyone for joining us today. As we mentioned, we will be sending the recording. Feel free to scan the QR code if you want to learn more about our tool, do a proof of concept, and learn more about our AI agents. Looking forward to speaking with you guys and working together through this AI era. Thank you so much, Alvaro. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for your time. It's been a pleasure.